welcome to the Juliette interviews. I am here with Mark Cohen, who's basically the number one OG lender in town. He's a mortgage broker, and we're going to be talking about interest rates and how they've affected the market. Welcome, Mark.
Thanks for inviting me, Juliette. Much appreciated.
So obviously interest rates have gone up significantly since last year, and it has affected the market. How are you as a lender dealing with that?
Well, everybody's been affected to a varying degree. From my own personal standpoint, I have a varying type of clientele, so I'm affected, but I'm able to cope better than others because I have loans with tax returns, without tax returns, and have vast resources. So it's volumes on sales is off about in that last 4 or 5 months. I'd say about 25%, which is okay.
Right. How would somebody who could easily afford a house at 2% and now is looking at more like 5.5%, how are they able to be purchasing at the moment?
Well, it's challenging. That's why, you're right. It doesn't make sense in mathematics. So people who are pushing at 3%, how are they qualifying at 5.5 or 6? Well, though it might qualify, but it's much more difficult to make the monthly payments. So, people are looking to buy more modest homes, by a few $100,000 to offset the difference in payments, or they're looking at adjustable rate loans or lower interest only payments, and so forth. So there's a whole bunch of options that are available.
Buying down the rate has been a thing that a lot of realtors who do their to-camera thing are talking about. Do you encourage that? Are you seeing more of that?
The buy down the mortgages are more prevalent on conforming loan amounts, the Fannie Mae loans. On jumbo loans, you really don't see it. There are some buy down options, but they really don't make sense because, especially, I'm of the belief that you're going to see lower rates in the next 9 to 15 months. So rates, they're now 5.5, 5.75. I think, and I feel pretty good about making that statement, will be in the 4.5, 4.75 range in the year for a whole host of reasons, which I'm sure we'll discuss later on.
Yeah, tell me, what are the reasons?
Well, first of all, we had a huge increase in rates this year. The Federal Reserve has raised rates by about almost 4 points, and they're going to raise it again next week by half a point, which is already factored into the equation for the most part. So they're increasing the rates. It takes time for it to hit the market, for the economy to be actually to feel it. And I think after the first of the year, you're going to start feeling the effects of the rate increases. Now, I don't think that negatively so much affects our real estate market, which is what our primary concern is. But you're seeing other parts of the economy where it's slowing down. Transportation, you see the price of oil, which is a very good indicator of where the economy is. Just dropped from 120 in June, 5-6 months ago, to about $75 a barrel. So that's helped a lot as far as the inflation front is concerned. And you're seeing prices of commodities, lumber, other industrial commodities, which are a reflection of the economy, come down in price quite a bit.
Yeah. One of the things, obviously, the last time we went through a major housing down was in between 2006 and 2008,
Right.
which was the lending crisis. We don't anticipate that. People have a lot more equity in their homes, but there are going to be rates, or I should say mortgages, that maybe had 5, 7, or 10-year loans that are now adjusting from a much lower rate to a higher rate. What do you anticipate happening?
I think it's going to be an opportunity for lenders to refinance the people, because people who refinance in 16, 17, 18, 19, all these loans are going to start to adjust, and the payments will go up dramatically from the mid threes up to, if you're using the current indexes that they're using, to mid sixes or mid sevens because of the formulas. So that creates it's good for myself. It creates opportunities, but it's a payment shock. I have a couple right now. The payments are literally doubling because now the loan is a fully amortized loan over 23 years instead of an interest-only loan. So it's going to have its effects.
And
sure.
People are choosing that because they're worried that interest rates are going to go up further, and they don't want to be in a worse situation 7 years down the line.
Right. So the people that have loans right now will refinance, and right now, um, once again, it's a good time to refinance, but I would actually wait because I think rates will be lower. Um, but people right now, they're buying houses are mainly opting for 7 and 10 year deals because the 30-year fixed rates are in the high fives. So everybody's trying to minimize cash outlays.
Yeah, but is that smart though? I'm trying to think on the house I bought last year, whether I did a 30-year or an interest only. I hope I did a 30-year.
now you hope you did.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, it depends on the situation because sometimes people just want to have the lowest possible payments, and because they know they're on the property for 5, 6, or 7 years, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference. So it just depends on people's game plans.
I mean, on average, a person in America moves every 5 years,
Right.
but I feel like we have a number of forces that might stop that average or up that average.
Yeah, it's a good point because it sure feels that way because that's part of the problem with the housing market now. It's going from 3% or low threes to call it 6 or 5 3/4. It's psychologically it's difficult. So there's really got to be a compelling reason for people to move, and obviously there are tons of them. Getting married, new first-time home buyers, couples, need a larger house, and fortunately in our market here, people love to move in Southern California, and especially in our market. So they make more money, so they feel more comfortable, and they want to outgrow their house. So there's a whole host of reasons, but there are also reasons why people are holding back, though, too.
Yeah, because I mean, if you move and you think, oh, well, I need an extra bedroom, or I really need a home office, or I need a gym, by the time you've paid all the moving costs and you've changed your loan, you're better off adding a room or adding a floor.
That's very true. Good point. And that is popular. I'm doing quite a few home equity loans now, which I traditionally haven't really done too many, but to help my clients out. But the problem with that then, and it goes back to the cost of things. They're starting to come down, but you have contractors who are very, very independent now. So getting anybody to do anything, it's months and months wait. And then up to a few months ago, the price of materials was sky high. It's come down by a fair amount, but the thing that's really hurting the economy from the inflation front is labor. And these guys are just very independent, shall we say.
Well, I saw that there's more people without jobs. The latest report just came out. What's your take on that? How is that going to affect interest rates?
Well, it's one of the Federal Reserve is very focused on two things: the inflation levels and the job market. And up to this point in time this year, it's been pretty strong and resilient, averaging a couple hundred thousand job creation per month. I'm sorry. It seems like it should be slowing down in a lot of industries, technology, and other similar type industries are laying people off, though. But it seems like there's a huge demand for hospitality and other superfluous business like that. That's holding up the job market. Now, those aren't as well-paying jobs, so we'll see how that affects it. But it seems like it's really a tricky situation. Some industries are doing well, others aren't. Because if you look at companies, Apple, Google, and there's no new hiring or a lot of these semiconductor companies. So it's really a mixed picture depending on what industry you're in.
Yeah, I mean, the booming industries are the roaring 20s. They're the clubs, the restaurants, the
Yeah,
hotels. I would think the airlines are doing pretty well,
right, exactly.
although
Yeah,
they,
they can't hire enough pilots.
yeah.
So it's really the tale of two cities right now.
Measure ULA is the biggest tax hike in the history of Los Angeles.
Right.
4% additional tax. Mansion tax is really what it is, between 5 and 10 million,
Right.
and 5.5% between 10 million and whatever. How is that going to affect the industry, in your opinion?
Well, I don't think it's great, that's for sure. Any kind of tax, and I'm not sure really the reasons why. And and not that I'm trying to be political, but if you remember, there's a big thing to have the what's the thing for the tax for hold on. Oh. No, the tax for the educational schools for the lottery tax. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
yeah,
the
yeah,
lottery tax.
yeah.
And so much money was supposed to go into for schools and so forth, and you don't see that. And so I'm just afraid that when you see all these huge numbers, and there will be huge numbers going to the state, and it's going to be misappropriated and so forth, like it always is. So it doesn't go for good causes, and you can see just drive the streets and see all the homelessness. And so, I with government, just taxes just aren't necessarily good. Sometimes private industry is better to do things.
So, but what do you think will happen? I mean, some people are predicting the beginning of the year up until April 1st, when it all goes into effect, will be a mad dash. People trying to sell their houses over 5 million, and then people are going to stick with their houses. And maybe there's all kinds of talk about trying to reverse this because it is so vague. It covers commercial, and you still pay the tax even if you're losing money on
Yeah.
selling your house.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's very vague, and it was on the ballot, and the mentality is rich people getting back,
Yeah.
and it's really not fair when uh, those people are the ones who are creating the economy here. Different story, but it's going to have a negative effect if it stays as is. It just can't.
Yeah.
And if it does go through and it does stay, I hope it's used for good purposes.
Well, apparently they have $1 billion in surplus money for affordable housing and homelessness, which is
Okay.
just sitting there. So
Yeah.
now they're going to have another billion. I wonder
Yeah.
what they'll
So
do with it.
yeah. Well, we know how government works, especially in the state of California sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So we are predicting probably around March. You think that the interest rates will come down to the fours?
I don't think it's necessarily March, but I think you're going to have a half point increase this week upcoming. Now that doesn't mean more higher mortgage rates, but it affect the short term rates, like loans that are based on the prime rate, so home equity loans and so forth, auto loans. So those are going to go up, and it's no secret though. And then it's just a wait and see approach by the Fed to see how after the first year what the sentiment is of the economy, see how the shopping season goes, and I think you're going to see a different mentality after the first year. I think people will be positive, and I think the housing market will be okay. But I just think the overall economy, people are going to be pretty cautious. That's what economists who I follow and I think I respect are saying, that we're in the beginning parts of recession.
Yeah. Who do you follow?
I follow some guys on CNBC. Jeff Gunlot, he's a double line. He's one of the probably biggest bond traders. That I follow also a reporter named Rick Santilli on CNBC, and just they have all these reading and just interviews. But everybody's got their own ulterior motive. But I look at people who actually can carry on a conversation about what's going on, and when I read. So it's just just get general opinions. There's a guy from Guggenheim, I forgot his name, but he's called this market pretty right too.
I mean, my feeling just from my own work as a real estate agent in Los Angeles is there will be a lot more inventories coming to the market, and I think we'll have a really good January through June, maybe July. I think there will be some people still sitting on the sidelines waiting, which I think we are seeing buyers do that.
Absolutely.
But I think if the sellers are smart, they'll have their homes on looking great, staged, painted, landscaped, the way I like to present the properties, by March at the latest. Because I think between March, April, May, and June, I think we're going to have a lot of people out there buying houses.
Yeah, I can tell in my office, and you're right, I agree with you. There's a whole host of people that are looking for houses, and in my office I have 50, 60 clients who are all qualified. They're all looking, and the prices are high right now still, and something's got to give. So I think there's got to be a better equilibrium between buyer and seller. And then you compound that by the fact that the inventory is light, and that's more. It's a common phenomenon we've had for the last couple of years, but I think it'll be helped once people realize it's a good time to sell. So I think that the inventory will pick up.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, prices haven't really gone down.
Yeah,
they
5-10%.
They went up tremendously during the pandemic, and they haven't really gone down. I mean, we are now seeing longer time days on market, and we are seeing prices not go up as much, but they're not,
5-10%. And what a couple deals right now that I'm working on are people that are getting taking money out of their homes, whether it be through HELOCs or private party loans.
And buying other properties.
Buying other houses. No, because they know they want to buy these houses, but they know they can't have contingent offers, so they're pulling cash out of their houses or investment properties.
What price range is that?
I bet they're all like in the million, just in the $1.5 million to $2 million range. There's like 3 or 4 clients. Same exact formula. They're all going to put their houses on as soon as right after the first year. So that's to your point. You're right. You're going to just from those 4 people I know, clients of mine, they're all putting their house on the market in the first part of January as soon as they close the escrows on these houses.
So they're buying in advance using the equity of their properties. And are they downsizing?
No, it's slightly increasing. It's just that better neighborhoods, better school districts, and so forth, and obviously the houses are a little better.
Interesting.
So that's a good indication, and that's literally 4 people in the last 5 days.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting that they would want to carry 2 houses.
Short term, because they know they have a lot of equity in these houses. They know they're going to sell the house.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, anything that's decent and is clean in a decent area, it's gonna sell.
Yeah. Are you doing loans in any of the areas like West Adams, places like that, where I nearly bought last week?
That area's a tremendous move by SC. And
USC, people are moving to USC.
Yeah, by SC. And it's natural progression because obviously people tend to be near the coast.
Yeah.
But as prices have gone up, it's moved inland, Inglewood and Baldwin Hills and Culver City and so forth. And that's been going on for quite a while. But the SC area is it's been strong. They've got a couple of transactions going there.
But are you considering West Adams? That's not the USC area.
No. It's a little further west.
Yeah. So any other predictions for the coming year?
I think it's going to be, nobody knows for sure, but I'm pretty optimistic, and I usually call it fairly right. Don't go out on the limb. But I think it's going to be more the same in a decent to good market. It's not going to be like it was in May of 21 or when everything was selling 18 offers on property. So all it takes is one buyer, and I think you're getting you'll have a good inventory. And as long as the economy stays relatively healthy, and I think it'll be okay. And one other anecdote, there's a ton of money in Los Angeles, so I don't think it's going away anytime soon. So there's always the underlying demand to buy homes here, so I wouldn't be too worried about it. Everything goes in cycles in life, so you just got to ride the wave. But I think it's it's fine. I'm pretty confident.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Okay.